Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy, Fantasy Hockey, TITTH number 145. I'm your host, Justin Bruni, but I got Nick Davis with me tonight. Happy Monday, Nick. How are we doing, sir?
What's up, everyone? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Had a nice little week off here. Anything fun you did with your extra time off last week, Nick?
Nope, just played a lot of NBA 2K and tried to chill. I mean, life's been exhausting lately, so just trying to get my energy back and keep going and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know how the Caps are looking. They're out of the playoffs, but how did you take it?
I mean, for the Caps getting out in the first round is a big bummer. Just because I wanted to see a little bit more than a first round exit again. We're halfway there from being the Toronto Maple Leafs. I am not shocked, though. The Bruins made a move for Taylor Hall, and I knew that move was going to, pay dividends in the playoffs. Talent always does play dividends in the playoffs. So I'm okay losing to the Bruins. The one thing that I'm bummed about is that we didn't get to see Henrikh Lundqvist. I think that would have changed how the series would have went. It probably would have been a little bit more competitive, but, I hope that we do see him next year. That would be a big thing that I would want to see, but I think that I can't keep talking about Henrikh Lundqvist. I try to stay away from him because he wasn't part of the team. He was only on a 1-year deal.
Right.
But he
didn't get to play.
Yeah, but he is a veteran, and we were kind of left scrambling with the talent that we did have, and they did do well, during the regular season, but during the playoffs, they just didn't have the experience that the Bruins did. I mean, Charlie McAvoy is like a 27-year-old captain, and he's been in the playoffs like every year he's been in the NHL, so it's a little bit different of a team makeup than what the Caps are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're just a lot deeper offensively too, right? I mean, you mentioned Taylor Hall coming over, kind of puts them over to the top line-wise. They're already getting so much from that first line, and Bergeron, Pasternak, and Marchand, getting Hall and Craig Smith paired up together on that second line. It's really overwhelming. But back to the Capitals here, you got Ovi now. He's an unrestricted free agent at 35 years old. What do you think is a fair offer for the guy? This is someone who held like about 11.5% of their cap space. He's been holding it down there for a while. I'm assuming he comes back. Would you agree? And how much do you think it's going to cost?
I don't really care what it costs. Just bring him back.
Right.
If he wants to be in the NHL, then go ahead. If he wants to go to Russia and play in a KHL, I have heard rumors of that happening.
Don't do that.
No, I definitely don't want that, but I have heard that. But
don't do it, Ovi.
Whatever he wants to be paid, give it to him. He's the greatest player that this team has ever had. Let him finish out his career. Let him do something that's almost an anomaly. Stay with the same team for your entire career. Let him finish it out. I don't care if it's like a Kobe farewell tour. Whatever it takes to keep him in the Capitals red, I'm good with.
All right. Well, are there any cap casualties you'd be willing to part with? Tom Wilson. For what he is, he's still holding down about like $5 million a year. You're talking about maybe needing a goalie. Next year. Are you still ready to roll with like Vanacek? I mean, obviously Craig Anderson isn't the answer to the future. Had his brief moments here in the playoffs, but I mean, I feel like they're really good on defense, but I feel like there's going to be a cap casualty here offensively, just because you got to give Ovi something big. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily going to pull $9 million plus, but I don't know. Kuznetsov, Oshie, Mantha, Wilson, any of these guys?
Kuznetsov. It's
okay.
Hard to say, but he hasn't really panned out. I mean, he's older than Tom Wilson by 2 years. And Tom Wilson, for everything that he is, such like a goon and all that, he did have about 4 more points than him and also had 4 more goals.
Right.
So, for me, Benji hasn't turned out to be that franchise player that I expected him to be when he was coming up. I thought he was going to kind of be the next generation, but we got Anthony Mantha. I'm okay with him coming back and kind of leading that charge. I don't know. This is kind of weird. I kind of see Anthony Mantha being like a Phil Kessel in his career, just plodding down the ice, but able to score any given night, and I'm happy with that. But
and eats less hot dogs.
Yeah, but Avengi, I'm okay with letting him go.
Okay.
Let me see.
What about, we're talking about maybe, Lundqvist could come back, but I still feel like there's some, better younger options out there. I mean, we got also take into consideration, we got the Kraken coming into play. They're going to be pulling from some free agency, pulling from teams as well, doing their expansion draft, right? You had some big goalie names available next year. Would you be willing to bring back Grubauer? I can't imagine Tuukka Rask is going to be on the Capitals' radar, but I also like Chris Driedger. Frederik Andersen. Let's see. Samsonov is a restricted free agent. He's okay, but not great. Obviously, couldn't finish for the Capitals in the playoffs here. Or do you just ride forward with Vanecek? Just take him at a nice little steal on the salary cap.
Geez, that's a tough question. I would if Grubauer came back, that'd be a dream to me. I thought he was better than Holtby. I thought he was better than Holtby when he was here, and I couldn't believe that they, didn't try and keep him and then let Holtby just walk like he did. Like that was kind of like frustrating. Like it was just like we had two, I hold Grubauer higher than Holtby, but Grubauer would be a dream. But if we can't get Grubauer, then you learned the most from your losses, and Vanecek didn't do well in the playoffs, and I think that will be a learning experience for him to come forward. He did very well during the regular season. You can say whatever you want about having an offense, but it still takes someone to stand in the goal and keep the offense gapped from the other team. So I would be okay with Vanecek. I would be okay with like a younger talent. Samsonov, I'm perfectly okay with him coming back. The one guy
had a good year.
Yeah, he still had a good year. We can have like a 1-2 punch, but it always helps to have a veteran. I would love Mike Smith to come in. I think he gets hot at the right times, and I think that we can get maybe one more year out of him. He's been kind of like floating around. I understand like he's with Edmonton, and Edmonton's getting their shit kicked out of him, but I still like Mike Smith.
Yeah, regular season he was like 21-6-3. He's not bad, but he also had, a really good offense in front of him. Also not playing playoff hockey. We've seen the Winnipeg really turn it on. Once we got into playoff mode here, Edmonton. I don't know what their deal is here. Obviously, we'll get to them here in a bit. But Mike Smith, I could see on a friendly deal. He's going to be 39 years old, so he can't really cost more than a couple million and a half. In that same breath, you could use a guy like Brian Elliott. Pecorine is going to be available. He's 38. I think that he might be a little bit better, or at least ahead of Mike Smith still at this point in his career. Pecorine, obviously, getting replaced by Saros. Saros having an amazing series right now with the Hurricanes. I have to imagine he's going to be their long-term guy. Who else here? Yaroslav Halak, another kind of veteran name up there. He's 36 years old. Might be a little bit ahead of Mike Smith there, but yeah, any one of those guys I could see on a nice little veteran discount. Pair him up with Vanecek, and I think they need to really concentrate on getting back Ovechkin. Obviously, what do you think it's going to cost though? Like, is it like $7 million, $6 million annually? What do you think? He's at about 9 right now.
7. I think 7 would work.
What I would really like is like 7 for 7. Like get him like a nice, almost, like 50 million to close out. Cause the guy's just, he's going to keep playing. He's going to keep scoring wherever he goes. And maybe he plays like 4 or 5 of those years, and then you just pay him off the back and retired.
Yeah.
Something like that. Cause I feel like he could get that anywhere, honestly, in the NHL. And it's also just a nice friendly deal. If, the Capitals don't get it together and they don't make a run, he could get moved onto someone else's books, or, finish out his career like 1 year somewhere. Maybe he wants to go play in Toronto. Everybody else does that when they want to retire right now, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens. He wouldn't win a cup there, in my opinion, but we'll see what happens. Definitely going to be something to track for the Capitals in the offseason. Let's jump into some of these game previews. But before we do, we're going to do our Monkey Knife Fight props. If you guys haven't signed up with monkeyknifefight.com, they're an excellent option for prop betting. And if you use our promo code to the Hizzy, they will match your deposit up to 100%, up to $50. All right, first up, we've got fantasy point matchup between Alex Pietrangelo and Kirill Kaprizov. Kaprizov with the 1.5 bonus. Paired up with Jonathan Mashershow, versus Shea Theodore with a 0.5 point bonus. Which way are you going here?
I'm going to go Kaprizov. The 1.5 is really high, and especially he's on offense. And then I'm going to take Shea Theodore just because Shea Theodore has been one of the top defensemen of the year. So I'm going to take him as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go actually with both defensemen here. I'm going to go with Pietrangelo and I'm going to go with Theodore just because Minnesota, they've run cold. I'm not buying into them, getting hot tonight. They've only scored 4 goals in the series. So I'm going to say Kaprizov gets shut out. Give me Pietrangelo over him and Shea Theodore over Jonathan Marchessault with the 0.5 point bonus as well. I like that. Next up, we've got Connor McDavid versus Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor coming in with a 1.5 bonus. Paired up with Leon Draisaitl versus Darnell Nurse with a 1.5 bonus. Which way are you going here, Nick?
I'm gonna go McDavid and Nurse, just because. I'm gonna go McDavid and Draisaitl because I think Draisaitl and McDavid are both gonna be involved in the offense if there is any, and they got to go down flying, trying something, anything to just get some life and not be completely embarrassed in the playoffs. So I'm going to go McDavid and Draisaitl, even though they've ran pretty much cold.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite because they've ran cold, and they're also trying to pair them up together and play them on the same line. I don't advise Edmonton to do that. I feel like they need to stretch out their lineup a little bit and bring the pressure on Winnipeg more consistently, and I don't think they're doing that by cornering themselves into one line with those two. So I'm going to go opposite. Give me Kyle Connor and Darnell Nurse, both with the 1.5 bonus. Last up, we've got Andrei Vasilevsky for the Lightning, over under 28.5 saves, and Alexander Barkov for the Panthers, over under 3.5 total shots on goal and blocks. Which way are you going here, Nick?
I'm going to go under saves for Vasilevsky and then over shots on goal and blocks for Barkov. I think Barkov is going to, try and give a lot of offense, but I feel like the defense definitely tightens up in the playoffs, so I feel like he's going to get under 28. If it was maybe like 27 and a half, I'd probably take the over, but I think he's going to end up being at 28 probably.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to go with the under 28.5 as well. Florida, they've had plenty of offense in this series. They just don't have the wins to show for it. I think they get right tonight. I think, Joel Quenneville's been in this situation a few times before with the Blackhawks. I think he's going to have the right things to say to the Panthers tonight. So I'm going that direction. So I'm going to go with the over on Barkov and the under on Vasilevsky. That wraps up the available props because we've had some games start here. And we're going to do exactly that. We're going to jump into some live action here. So the first game up we have is the Islanders and the Penguins. Right now the series is tied, and so is the game. Series tied at two games to 2. Islanders right now have just tied it up against the Penguins. Right now, live, you're looking at the Penguins minus 165 on the money line and the Islanders plus 123. The Penguins did strike first blood in this one. We have a current goal total of 5.5 goals with about 16 seconds left in the second period. So it looks like the Islanders were able to get one in right before we closed out the first period here. We have the Islanders at plus 1.5 on the puck line, paying minus 314. Nick, who is your pick in the series here, and who do you have winning tonight?
I like the Islanders. Even though it's tied, I still like them. Trotz is a great coach, and I'm still very upset that Caps let him go. But I think that he can get them right. Pittsburgh is always a strong fight in the playoffs, so Islanders are going to have to earn a spot in the next round for sure. But I like Islanders just because of Trotz.
Right. Yeah, I'm going Penguins in the game and also in the series. For being tied 2-2, they still have 2 out of the last 3 games are in Pittsburgh. In this game specifically, I do have the Penguins. I'm trusting them a little bit more. They've been going back and forth here. It's been a constant back and forth in the wins and losses between both teams. But on the year, the Islanders are 4-8 up against the Penguins, including games in this series. The Islanders have outscored the Penguins though 13-11 so far through 4 games here. I'm going to go with the Penguins in this one. I just trust their offense a little bit more. They've got Malkin back. They've got that extra layer, and I think they're going to get a little bit more out of their guys like Rust, McGinn, and I also just like Tristan Jarry over Sorokin and the Islanders goalies in general. So that's the direction I'm going. I do believe I have them getting bounced in the next round. We'll get to that here in a bit. So I like them to finish off the Islanders. Islanders are a very deep team, but I just feel like the Penguins have a little bit more experience, and the Islanders, I feel like, are also just still trying to find themselves with like the late additions, guys coming over the trade deadline. It's just a little bit tougher in this year where these guys are like constantly quarantined when they're not away from the rink. And I feel like the Penguins just have that little extra layer of cohesiveness over the Islanders. Let's see. What do you think about the total of 5.5 goals? We're at the end of the first period here. What do you see the pace of play going forward in this one?
I think it ends up like a 3-2 game. Okay. 5.5, that seems a little high to me, especially with playoffs. And, only 11 shots on goal for the Penguins, 10 shots on goal for the Islanders. I mean, that's at about 28 to 30 shots in this game for both teams. But everybody tightens up in the playoffs, so I see a 3-2 game happening.
Yeah, it's really a coin flip. So far in the 4 games, we've only had, it's been split 2-2. 2 games have gone over the 5.5 and 2 have gone to the under. With the pace so far, I like the under. That's where I'm leaning. And I am going to bet on it live. So I just took the under 5.5 goals, and we're getting a plus option on it. But from what I'm seeing, everything's very tight. The goal that the Islanders scored was very nice. I didn't see who it was. I just caught the replay. I got it on right next to me here. Forward just came right down the middle, was able to get around one defenseman and just lift it over Jarry. But I feel like those opportunities are going to be few and far between. So I'm going to take the under there as well. What's up, Jinx? I see you back there, bud. Let's see. Going on to the next. Yeah, going on to the next one, we've got the Lightning and the Panthers, I believe. Or no, Maple Leafs and Canadiens have started. We'll get to that one here in a second. Maple Leafs and Canadiens, so far it's 0-0 on the money line through one period. Let's see, minus 207 for the Maple Leafs and plus 163 for the Canadiens. Over-under is at 3.5 goals. I like that. Who is your pick in the series here, and who do you have winning tonight?
The Canadiens limped into the playoffs, I feel, and I feel like the Maple Leafs have kind of like stayed really strong. I feel like the Maple Leafs are trying to definitely shake, their curse of the first round. And even though they lost John Tavares, I feel like that's kind of emboldened the team and galvanized them together because they're coming together.
I agree.
Tavares. So I think that they're going to take this series, and I think they're still going to win this game too.
Yeah, I have them in game 3 this evening for their second win. But they're actually playing a back-to-back. They're going to be playing again tomorrow. I think I might be looking at Montreal in that one on the plus or on the puck line, plus 1.5 option. But tonight I do like the Maple Leafs. They're one of my best picks. They're in a triple play with I have like the Panthers plus 1.5, Maple Leafs money line, and then the under in the Oilers and Jets. So I'm confident in them tonight. They haven't shown us much yet. Not a lot of scoring here. 0s through the first period. Hopefully the fireworks turn on here. 3.5 goals, Nick. It seems like a low number here. I feel like Maple Leafs could hit that on their own.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like that's really low, but I feel like it's going to end up being like a 2-1 game, so it's end up being 3. So I think I'm going to take the under on this one.
And the last game we hit 6 goals. Toronto 5-1 win. The first game, Montreal won 2-1, but I just can't bet it's going to go that direction. I'm going to throw another live bet here. I'm going to take the over 3.5.
We got to get a
117.
We got to get a sound effect for when you live bet, like a gong or a deer horn, a bear horn or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I prefer the cha-ching at the end. That's the noise I'm more interested in.
There you go. You just get a little soundboard and have that, and every time you live bet, bang.
All right, so let's jump into the games that haven't started yet. If you haven't had the opportunity, please be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. Let's see. We have a goal here. Looking at highlights of Canadiens. No, just a big save. Chad Campbell playing tonight, getting it done. Next up, we've got the Lightning and the Panthers. Panthers coming in as the plus 1.5 option on the puck line. Over under is at 6 goals total. Panthers -110 on the money line. Lightning a near even matchup at -120. Who do you have in the game and in the series, and what's your total take here?
I'm going to say in the game, I'm going to say Florida. Just as much as I like Trotz, hearing your praises of him all year, I think Quenneville has done very well in Florida. And I think that they're going to take the series, but I'm going to say that they win the game as well.
So Quenneville is going into his old bag of tricks here. He's starting Spencer Knight this evening. He is 4-0 on the year as a rookie, but he hasn't played, I believe, since May 2nd. Hasn't lost yet, like I said, but Quenneville not getting what he's wanted from his starting goalies. I can't remember if he's traded guys yet, but he's done this before with Delia or Connor Delia, or I'm sorry. Damn it, Darling, not Delia, Darling, and Nancy Niemi with Chicago. I don't know. We did that like a couple of years ago with Delia, but Q was gone. So he's kind of going into his old bag of tricks. I think he's going to know what to say to these guys. Unfortunately, I think Tampa Bay will win the series. I say unfortunately because I picked Florida to come out as the outright winner. But Tampa Bay getting Kucherov back, getting Stamkos back, it just gives them so many more options as far as their lineup creativity goes and putting their lines together. I think it's going to be too much for Florida in the series. But I do think that the team responds to Spencer Knight, rookie, being in the net. I think that they're going to be a lot tighter. I do think that we still go to the over, but I think it's because the Panthers, get like a 5-2 win, something like that. I think they really do get it done tonight. I took the over for Barkov on the shots. I like him to get one in the net this evening. But overall, the Lightning have just shown that they're just too deep. Florida coming back home tonight, like I said, I think that they can get the win. But I'm taking the safe money in this one. I think the best bet is still the +1.5 on the puck line, just because Tampa is so good. But I do like the Panthers to outright win, but not enough for me to bet it on the money line. Give me the +1.5. Do you think we can hit over the 6 goals?
6 goals? Ooh, yeah, I think you can.
I'm going to take it. Let's see. Next up, we've got Cha-ching. Oh, let's see. Oilers and the Jets. Oilers disappointing. They're down 3 games to none here. They're somehow still the favorite. Goal total is at 5.5, -130 on the money line. Do you believe in Edmonton to come back? They need 4 straight wins here?
No, they're not built like that. Like, it would have to be like a statistical anomaly for like McDavid and Draisaitl just to go off for 4 straight games like this. They've really shit the bed. Everybody had really high hopes. I feel like the bookies are still like pulling on that hope for everybody, thinking that they're at least going to put in 1. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Winnipeg is going to put them away and end the series.
Well, for a game with a team facing elimination, I'm definitely racing to the under. Edmonton, even when they do win, when they've been successful, they were cashing the under. I feel like they finished like 9-3 on the year to the under, something like that. And this is a team that came in 8-2 on the year up against Winnipeg. It's driving me crazy. And since then, Winnipeg has rallied off 3 straight. I could see the Jets winning, but I just like the under the most. I like the Jets at +1.5 because just of how well they've played. If you're going to say they can either outright win and sweep or lose by 1, I think those are really great odds. I don't feel like the sports books are giving enough respect to the Jets in this one. They're a plus option. I don't think they should be a plus option at +100. I feel like it should be a similar situation with like the Lightning and the Panthers, where it's -125, -105. So I do like the Jets at +100 if you're buying into just a clean sweep. But I think the safer money is on the Jets at +1.5, paying -240. I know that's not great odds, but I really love the under 5.5 just because either direction it goes. With one team facing elimination that has had more success to the under regardless. If they do win, I think if the Oilers do win, I think it goes to the under. If the Jets win, I feel like it goes to the under. So that's where I'm leaning, big time in this one. Next up, we've got the Wild and the Golden Knights. Golden Knights leading the series 3-1. They are not big favorites tonight, -190 on the money line. The Wild +155. Do you believe in the Wild to come back in the series? And who are you taking this evening?
Against Vegas, no. I feel like if they were facing any other team besides Vegas or Colorado, they could possibly mount a comeback. I just don't see it happening. Interesting. The total consensus is on the over at 100%.
Interesting for the Oilers and Jets, right? Or I'm sorry, for the Wild. and Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Guess they're expecting
crazy.
the fireworks from the Wild. The Wild have only scored 4 goals in 4 games, so I will lean to the under. I feel like they're giving people.
Predicted score is 4-1 to the Wild, or sorry, to the Knights. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that. I also like a 3-1, 2-1 game. I think the Wild can keep it close. The Wild are plus 1.5. I think that's a good bet. That's only paying minus 160 though. And again, a team that's facing elimination. I like the under, and I like the plus 1.5 option, whichever way it's going, because it's just going to get tighter. The Wild, I believe in Game 3. They had a great first period. They outshot Vegas 8-4, and they had 2 goals. But for the rest of the game, I can't remember what the ratio was. But Vegas just stomped them. And since that first period, the Wild just really haven't been able to pressure the Golden Knights, whether it's in the neutral zone, in the offensive zone, whatever it is. The Knights have just had their number. With, oddly enough, coming into the series, Minnesota was 5-3 on the year. So Vegas has really flipped the script and ended that narrative. A big reason why I'm on the under for Kirill Kaprizov tonight. I just don't think the offense is going to be there. So I'm going to take the under. It's at minus 130. I know you're getting more juice for the over, but I just think that's the safer option here with one team facing elimination. But I'm still going Golden Knights, and I do think they take the series down. I don't think the Wild are set to stage a comeback just yet. Vegas just too deep, too good, especially on defense, and that's where their biggest leverage is for me. The guys that are in front of Fleury, they're getting it done. Fleury's getting it done. So I'm going Vegas all day here.
Okay.
Let's move on to the Predators and the Hurricanes. They are taking off tomorrow, not playing tonight. Been a great series. Saros and Nedeljovic have been going back and forth with outstanding performances. Nedeljovic does have a shutout in the series, but he's lost back-to-back games in double overtime. These guys are trading, 50, 60 save evenings. It's been a wild one, very close series. Who do you have winning tomorrow night, and who do you have finishing off the series, Nick?
Winning tomorrow night, I'm going to say the Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes have just overall had a better season, and they've really came in strong to the playoffs. The Predators definitely, lit it up at the right time. But I think Carolina does eventually pull off the win for the series as well.
Yeah, I'm going with the Hurricanes as well. Predators have been good. They've been great. I mean, what am I saying? Especially in these last 2 games and winning in double overtime. But I just feel like the Magic's got to run out at some point. To me, the Hurricanes are still the better team. They've only outscored them by 1 goal, 12-11 goals through 4 games so far. But on the year, just Hurricanes have just been a bigger favorite, 7-3 on the year in total games, including the playoffs. So even including the 2 wins that the Preds have in the playoffs, they're only 3-7 up against the Hurricanes on the year. So I'm going to buy or double down on the Hurricanes. I think they're going to take the series. Tomorrow night, I would like the under 5.5 goals, and I like the Hurricanes at home. Hurricanes, I believe they're pretty close to 100%, if not 100% on fan capacity. I don't know if you saw some of the videos of their pregame show. It was wild. I know that the Preds are at 80%. They're looking really good. Fans are giving the support, but again, just going with the home team, best 2 out of 3 here. I think that this one does go to 7 games, and the Hurricanes take it in 7. And I don't think that we're going to get as many overtime games for the rest of the series. I feel like the Hurricanes will finish out a couple of them here in regulation. So with that, let's kind of move through our playoffs here, through the playoff bracket. We both agree that the Maple Leafs will move on, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Winnipeg. So who do we like between Winnipeg and the Maple Leafs? You still going with the big favorites in the Leafs?
No, I'm going to say the Jets. Shutting down the Oilers like they did. I mean, it might be that the Oilers just went cold, but being completely housed like they have been by the Jets, I feel like it's putting the Jets on the map now, and putting a little bit of respect on their name. And I think they're going to do the exact same thing to Toronto. Toronto will be pretty complacent with getting out of the first round because they got the monkey off their back. But, I mean, man, if Tavares doesn't come back and, he's still out for that series, then I think that the Jets can definitely win it.
I can respect that, especially if Tavares is out. They could take a very similar approach to how they handled Draisaitl and McDavid. I see Toronto as just a deeper team in general. Their roster is very deep. They're going to have Nick Foligno Nick Foligno fill in on that second line. I think he's going to do a pretty good job. Obviously, they added all these stars throughout the year and offseason for a reason. So I'm still going to take the Maple Leafs, despite their woes in the past. Despite just like kind of their theme of getting bounced in the first round. Not making it to the conference finals in I don't know how many years. But I am going to take them to push forward here out of that Canadian division. I think the odds right now, if we have it up here, they are leading to come out of that division at -160. The Jets are at +275. So if you do like the Jets, those are still really good odds to come out of the North Division. They would face the winner, of what looks to be Vegas and the Avs. The Avs have already finished off the Blues. 4-game sweep pretty handedly. The Avs are the odds favorite to win the Cup. Who do you have coming out of the Avs and the Vegas Golden Knights?
I'm going to say Vegas's run in playoffs ends here with the Avalanche. Avalanche, even though they went against the Blues, who we don't like, but they handled their business and really took it to them. And I think that it's not going to be like a 4-0 sweep like they did with the Blues, but I see more of like maybe like I see 2 wins happening for Vegas, but the Avalanche pull it off.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Avalanche as well, but I do believe that series goes to 6 or 7 games. It's really not fair in my opinion. I feel like that should be the conference championship. And just because of the way the divisions are aligned, Canada's closed, #blame Canada. There's nothing we can really do, right? Once one of these Canadian teams makes it, they're going to, They're going to, essentially have to play at neutral sites for both conferences. Right. So teams are losing home ice advantage because essentially no Canadian team can have home ice advantage. They have to level the playing field, as it were. Right. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. I will have the Avs going on, but like I said, Vegas, really good team. Both teams are really deep. I just feel like Colorado, like every line, is a good two-way line. Like every line can provide offense, every line can provide defense, and that's just dangerous in the playoffs because you don't have to be pairing up matchups with your, checking lines up against the other team's, scoring lines or things like that. You can plug out any of these lines at any time. Nazim Cadre is going to be out. I know he's appealing his 8-game suspension. I think he's served, I believe, 2 of those games now. I'm not sure. But he had a nasty hit on Justin Falk in the Blue Series. He's going to be appealing it. I'm not sure how that's going to go. He has 8 games because he's a repeat offender. But even without him, I trust Edouard Bellemare, Tyson Yost on that third line. I think that those guys can all fill in well. Obviously, they're kind of a layer, behind missing him out of the lineup. But, they've got, guys like Brandon Saad, who I'm a big fan of, being a Blackhawks fan. They added Carl Soderberg, who they also got from the Blackhawks. Blackhawks have traded a bunch of guys into some winning opportunities here. Matthias Janmark on the other side for Vegas as well. But yeah, I think the Avs are the real deal. We'll just kind of move on with them versus we'll say Winnipeg. I'll go with you because we don't have a consensus there. Winnipeg or the Maple Leafs. Would you have the Avs just going to the finals?
Yeah, I got the Avs going to the finals. I don't think there's a team on their side of the bracket that can really stop them.
I agree. I mean, like I just said, 4 strong lines, offense is there. They have a very similar first line to my other favorites in the Bruins to make it out in Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen. I referenced earlier, Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak. I feel like, those are, 2 very equitable, line ones, if not 1 and 2 in the league themselves. So I think that's going to wind up being the final showdown, peeping my, finals pick coming out of the other conference. So let's shift over there. We'll start from the bottom with that. We're both in agreement that Tampa is going to come out and the Hurricanes. Is that right? The first round?
Yeah. The Carolina and the Lightning.
Okay, so Carolina and the Lightning. Who do you got in that series?
I think you know how in like basketball they talk about how like playing in the playoffs constantly year in and year out kind of wears on you. I feel like the Carolina Hurricanes are a little bit more fresher than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's got so much experience in the playoffs. I mean, they won the Cup last year, but I feel like Carolina is just a little bit more hungrier. You know what I'm saying? And I think that they're going to take the series from them and go from there.
Yeah, I agree with you, and hopefully that's what happens because that's what I picked to happen outside of Florida beating Tampa, and I figured Carolina would have a bit of an easier time. But I still trust Carolina to not make easy work of Tampa. I think it'll be a good series, but I think that they can win that one in 6. They have a great defense. They're getting great goaltending out of Nedeljovic. He's really stepped up. Really shining for them, bright, shiny star behind that defense, pushing these games into double overtime up against the Preds, who are in their own right are just as good, in my opinion, as Tampa Bay. I feel like the Preds are a very deep team, good two-way checking hockey team, and I feel like they're sharpening the irons for their Hurricanes to go on to beat Tampa. At the top here, you have the Islanders, I have the Penguins. I'll just submit to the Islanders winning. But with the Bruins, can either of those teams beat them, Penguins or Islanders, or would you have the Bruins moving on?
I got the Bruins moving on.
Okay. I have the same. I have them going to the finals. So I'm going to have the Bruins go on as well. I just think that offensively, they're not going to be able to match up with the Penguins and Islanders. I feel like they're a very deep scoring team, especially defensively. They have filled in the holes for Zdeno Chara in many ways. Tuukka Rask is there. I feel like his hot goaltending will propel them, definitely beyond either the Islanders or the Penguins. So let's match up with some finals here. We've got, let's say, Avs, Maple Leafs, and Bruins and Hurricanes. Who do you have moving on to the finals?
I have the Avs going to the Cup, and I'm going to say it's kind of weird. I feel like this year, reinvigorated the Bruins because they have a lot of veterans on their team, very similar to how the Caps did. But with the addition of Taylor Hall, they, let Chara go, but it's almost like their defense did not miss a damn step. And a lot of the guys that were younger came up and performed very well. I'm going to say that the Bruins make it to the Cup against the Avs.
All right, so we have the same finals then. We'll just keep it simple here. Who's winning the Cup?
Give me the Bruins. I think that they're going to stop at the Avs, and I think the addition of Taylor Hall was specifically acquired to be able to go up against a team like Colorado, and I think that the Bruins are going to win. Rask in the playoffs, especially the Cup, he is almost lights out, and I think that his ability will outshine whatever goalie is in the goal for the Avs, no matter who it is, but they still have very good goalies there. It's just Rask is just – it's weird how Bruins have almost timeless wonders at goalie. They had Tim Thomas, who was 39 years old, just kicking everybody's ass.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And Rask is just he's older, but it's almost like he doesn't age. It's almost like he keeps getting better. And I think that this year is his year. And it's almost like a redemption year for him because last year he left the bubble and everybody's like, oh, man, what's going to happen? He led you to the Cup. That's what happened.
Yeah, they've been swapping in a lot of different young defensemen, but Grzelcyk, Mike Riley, and Brandon Carlo, to me, are the guys that stepped up the most for the Bruins. I have the Avs beating the Bruins in the finals. I have it in 6 games. It's just so hard to pick because these teams have never played each other all year. They've had an entire year off from playing, from outside of their conference. Everyone was within their division this year. So it's really hard to tell. I think that both teams match up very well against each other. I'm still going to go with the Avs just for the same reasons I've already listed. They're just very deep in all of their lines. Every single one of them is a checking and scoring line. I could say the same for the Bruins, but it doesn't go really to the fourth line with guys like Curley, Lazar, Wagner, but I love their third line and Charlie Coyle, Jake DeBrusk. If Jake DeBrusk is on your third line, you're doing something right. I think he was playing up with Pastrnak last year. Looks like Spencer Knight just got broken in really quick. 1 shot, 1 goal for Tampa Bay. Not great. Getting outshot 3-1.
Yeah.
Ouch. We'll get into it here. And also, let's see, the Islanders are on a power play as well. They might be able to tally one up here. But, yeah, I like the Avs over the Bruins. I still think that they're the better and more complete team. 4 lines deep. Both teams have great goaltending in Rask and Grubauer. I like the Avs more. I think this is their year. They are the odds-on favorite. I know that's not very creative. Let's see, what was Boston at? I think they were at number 2 or 3.
3.
Yeah. Behind the Avalanche, so like we were saying, should be the conference finals, is the Vegas Golden Knights at plus 450. Man, I'd love to see the Knights back in the finals. I don't think they can get over the hump of the Avalanche. So Avalanche plus 250, Knights plus 450, Bruins at plus 500. So I think that's a very good opportunity there to plug in. Same as Nick. That's his pick to win. Avalanche at plus 250. Still can't turn down those odds. I'll take them all day. Let's see what else here. We're getting some other games live. Like I mentioned, we're going to be cutting it out. I mean, no fantasy, obviously, right? Already went through our props. Let's see. Now that Tampa is up, they are minus 245 on the money line. Panthers are plus 183 on the money line. Let's see. Over-under is at 6.5 goals already. Are you ready to slam the under?
Yeah, ready to slam the under for me.
Yeah, I still like the under there. I think that we're getting an extra half goal for obviously the quick goal here. I still think the Panthers get it together, so I don't hate the plus 183 on the win. I still feel like they're going to be the better team tonight. But minus 163 for the plus 1.5 on the puck line. I think that's probably the safer money. Still no action in the Canadiens and Leafs game. Looks like the Penguins just took the lead, and it has to be like right now because I have the feed up here. And it's still tied 1-1, so I'm going to try to call this out here. Letang, top of the circle, gets it off to the right wing, back to the top, and there it is. Just a nice little puck rotation and entry from the neutral zone. Looks like a forward. I can't make out who it was because they're all hugging each other, loving up on everybody. Fans are there. They're rolling. I'm not sure what percentage the igloo, I think that's what they call it in Pittsburgh. Not sure what their capacity is tonight. Definitely not 100%. But yeah, Chris Letang just enters his own, dishes it off the right wing, back up to the point, slams home a slapper on the far side of Sorokin. Looks like it was Rust. Yeah, guys that we were talking about earlier, Rust, McGinnon, even Malkin. I think he's still got to step up, from not being there, consistently healthy. So I still think that they're going to take home the win tonight. Let's see. Now they're at minus 425 on the money line. Islanders at plus 1.5 is paying minus 146. I feel like they're still going to cover. What do you think? The Islanders on the puck line? I feel like that's still good odds. Minus 146 now.
I'd take it.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep this one close. And that's what the series has been the entire way. It's been a very physical, close series. I just feel like some of these teams, like the Capitals, like they played Boston so tight, so physically. They're knocking them around all over the place. It's just that these teams that play like that, they let in, too many peppering opportunities from like the outside the numbers or outside the circles, I should say. They just constantly, let up, deep shots, right? Especially teams like the Predators too, playing a very physical series. But overall, I just don't think like those teams have, the talent to go, 7 games, and run away with 4 wins. So we'll see what we get. We still have zeros in the Leafs and the Canadiens game, and Tampa's still up 1-0. So not much action. We would have liked a little something more from the Leafs and the Canadiens. They've got 15 minutes left in the second period. Maple Leafs minus 241 on the money line. Canadiens plus 1.5 is minus 250. Any options that you like here? Over under still at 3.5.
I like the Canadiens. It's you said it's 0-0 still?
0-0, 15:43 left in the second. I
think they're still gonna be within 1 goal.
All right, I'm still going with the over. I like the over 3.5. I feel like the Maple Leafs turn it on here.
Mm-hmm.
Either team I feel like could put up 3 or 4 goals here. So I'm going to go with the over 3.5. I feel like that'll be a good number to dive in on. Anything else before we head out, Nick?
Hold your Doge.
Buy some Doge. It's on sale.
It is on sale, but I always say hold your Doge because you never know when that 50% drop's going to happen, but it'll come back.
It's gonna come back. We just start building satellites. Satellite construction is gonna start kicking off here in a handful of months. It'll jump. It's on
Coinbase.
sale.
Coinbase is coming too. Like
there you go.
Yeah, hold your Doge.
Hold your Doge. Tampa now out shooting Florida 5-2. They somehow lost a shot on goal. Florida, what are you doing? What are you doing? They're on the power play. Penguins still up 2-1. Man, no action from the Maple Leafs and Canadiens. Maple Leafs, do stuff. Every time we bet on the Maple Leafs on this show, they fucking lay a duck on us.
Unbelievable.
All right, guys. Take care. Be well. If you can't be good at it. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.